You ever have that feeling? You're looking at some piece of ancient wisdom and you just know there's something amazing inside, but you can't get to it. It's like it's all locked away and you're missing the key. Well, that feeling, that sense that something's missing, that's exactly where our story begins today. This one question, right here, this is what kicks the whole thing off. And it wasn't asked in some dusty library or university lecture hall. Nope. It came up in a moment of total quiet, in a place you really might not expect.
So, to really get where this question came from, you've got to picture the scene. Imagine the feeling right after a really intense yoga class, that peaceful calm.
The hard work is over, The mats are rolled up, and this warm, soft light is just filling the studio. It's that perfect moment of calm after you've put in all the work and focus.
You've got 8 women just resting. Their breathing is deep, it's even. All that physical effort has just melted away, and there's nothing left but this stillness. And it's right in this perfect, peaceful moment that the quiet gets broken.
A student, her name's Jennifer, she speaks up, and she starts asking about the other side of yoga, not the poses, but the philosophy behind them. And she brings up this one particular book she's heard is the foundation of, well, everything. And that book is the Bhagavad Gita. Now, if you're not familiar with it, it's one of the most important spiritual texts in the whole yoga tradition. It's basically this incredible conversation about life, about our purpose, about what we're supposed to do here. But as Jennifer starts to explain, knowing a book is important and actually being able to read it, well, those are two totally different things. Her attempt to connect with this ancient wisdom, let's just say it didn't really go as she'd hoped. And the roadblocks she hit? They're probably going to sound pretty familiar. I mean, we're talking about a massive text, 700 verses long, and it's full of these complex Sanskrit terms. And get this, the expert commentaries, the books written to explain the book, are often even longer and denser than the original. So Jennifer's experience? She gave up after 20 pages. Sound familiar to anyone? As soon as she says this, another student just chimes right in with this line, and it just perfectly captures that feeling, right? Owning a book you know you should read, but it just sits there, like a monument to your good intentions. It was clear Jennifer was not alone in this. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you have the physical yoga practice. It's tangible. You can feel it in your sweat, your effort, your breath. But on the other side, you've got this deep, philosophical foundation that just feels totally locked away and overwhelming. It's like only having half the picture. So with Jennifer's question just hanging there in the air, am I missing something? The focus of the whole room suddenly changes. All eyes turn to the one person they think will have the answer, their teacher. And for the teacher, this was it. This was the moment she had been secretly dreading for months. You know, that quiet expectation from her students, their genuine search for guidance? It all just came to a head right then and there. In this incredibly vulnerable moment, that's her answer. She just admits it. She, the teacher, has struggled with the exact same book. She couldn't get through it either. And you can just imagine that confession just hanging there in the quiet room. This was a huge realization for her. She confessed that by focusing so much on just the physical poses, she'd basically convinced herself that the philosophy part was optional. But hearing her students question, she knew she'd missed something essential, that she'd thrown the baby out with the bathwater. But this shared moment of frustration, it doesn't end there. Instead, it actually opens the door to a completely unexpected solution from a really surprising source. The yoga teacher then says she wants someone who can help. Not some famous guru or a stuffy academic, but someone much, much closer to home. Her own dad. And his dedication, it's the real deal. He started studying more than 50 years ago with a world-renowned teacher. For him, this isn't just a hobby, it's a daily practice. And most importantly, he just has this amazing gift for making really complex ideas super simple. And that gift for making things simple leads to a pretty wild claim. The idea that you could boil down this massive, complicated text into something you could grasp in a single afternoon. Yep, that's the promise. The teacher believes her dad could actually distill the true essence of this 700-verse epic in just 2 hours. For a book that has stumped so many people for so long, that is a bold, almost unbelievable idea. His whole method is incredibly practical. First, just cut through all the academic noise and jargon. Second, get right to the core essential message. And third, and this is the key part, focus on the wisdom you can actually use in your life, right now. So sitting there alone in the studio after everyone's left, the teacher decides to act. She just pulls out her phone and sends this simple, direct text. It's the first step to making this whole idea a reality. And the reply is immediate, simple, welcoming, no hesitation at all. Just an open invitation. The path to finally understanding this thing is officially open. And that really brings us to the big question that's driving this whole journey. What if ancient wisdom isn't supposed to be this complicated? What if these huge, profound ideas are actually for all of us, and they're way more accessible than we've been led to believe?